It's that time again, guys, where today we're going to be predicting the 2024-2025 Premier League table. The final league standings come the end of the season. Last season we didn't do too bad, but we'll try and improve.
It was so predictable last year, though. Almost too predictable.
It was at the top of the table, wasn't it? And probably at the bottom. But let's just jump straight in. And Nathan, your bottom three.
So, starting off with my bottom three, pretty much every single viewer on this channel who's watched this for years has probably got money on who I've got finishing bottom, and you're going to be correct, I have Southampton. Their manager, Russell Martin, he's absolutely awful, and yes, that is personal, everyone knows how much I despise him.
Even though they got promoted last season.
But their defence last year was absolutely awful. Look how many times they conceded like 3, 4, even 5 goals in a game as well. It was just so wide open, and the fact they got up through playoffs was very lucky with the squad value they've got. The squad as well doesn't really excite me. It didn't excite me last season as well. They brought in Ben Brereton Diaz. He's unproven in this league. Flynn Downs and Howard Bellis, they're okay signings as well, aren't they? But it's going to be same old, isn't it? Style of play awful, conceding a stupid amount of goals and easily finishing bottom again. So 20th Southampton. 19th place, I'm going for a massive gamble. Nottingham Forest. They bought in Elliot Anderson for 40 million from Newcastle, but I'm a bit 50-50 on that move, to be honest. Is he proven enough to keep them in the Premier League? Nuno, he's going to experience a bit of second season syndrome, isn't he? And ultimately, it's going to be a bad season for them, isn't it, coming up ahead? And with the amount of players that they signed since they've come up to the Premier League, I just don't think it's ever gelled, has it? And it's just not going to happen again this season. In 18th place, now this is a controversial one, and I know I'm going to get a lot of comments, especially for the bottom two here, but I've got Brentford. They got Igor Thiago in, bit of a gamble for 33 million. It has paid off a lot before some of the Brentford signings, but I'm a bit sceptical. They had a very poor end to last season as well, didn't they? And to be honest, looking at the rest of the teams in the league, I can actually only see 2 teams that are worse than them at the moment. So, yeah, Brentford, Forest and Southampton were bottom 3.
Yeah, very similar to you, Nathan, for my bottom 3. I have gone rock bottom, Southampton, Russell Martin. Style of play sometimes. Some people like it, some people don't. Bought in a few players. Kyle Walker-Peters, probably one of their better players throughout last season, and he's decent at Premier League level as well. Flynn Downs, as you say, coming in from West Ham on 17 million. Rodney Edwards, young centre-back, £6 million. Whether he'll play a bit of a bit part there or, you know, be on the fringes of that squad. Taylor Harwood-Bellis, centre-back from Man City, £20 million. He was on loan there, so that's a permanent deal. They've managed to nail him down for, I'm not sure how long his contract is as well. Ben Brereton Diaz coming in from Villarreal, but he was on loan at Sheffield United at the tail end of last season as well. And of course, being an ex-Swansea manager, Russell Martin has brought in Nathan Wood from the Jacks.
Bit of a waste of money.
Another defender there. In 19th position, I've gone for Leicester City. They had a brilliant season last year, but they have lost Maresca to Chelsea, so there's a bit of a transition period there. Another ex-Swansea manager at the helm, Steve Cooper, of course, managerial experience in the Premier League
rate Cooper
before,
as a manager, to be fair.
But for me, their strikers, Iheanacho's left, or has been released, of course, come to the end of his contract. Jamie Vardy's still there, but overall, you know, they've got some real good wingers in that team. They've also lost Dewsbury Hall.
He was crucial last year.
To Chelsea. Harry Winks is still there as well. And of course, he's got Premier League experience, but I think they'll go straight back down. And it's not straight back up.
Straight back down, straight back down. Leicester City.
Yes. And in 18th, exactly the same as you, I've got Brentford. Igor Thiago has come in for £30 million, Neil.
It's a lot from a player from Belgium, isn't it?
Yeah, and will he play? Is he a replacement for Ivan Toney? Who knows? Could Ivan Toney be on his way out the door? Or maybe they'll play 4-4-2 and have the both of them up front. Whistler, of course, is there as well. But I've got Brentford, unfortunately, in 18th position. Now, Moving on to 17th position, I have gone for Nottingham Forest. Again, they're bringing in a load of players. The turnover of players there
that's ridiculous.
at the City ground is phenomenal over the years. You already said it. Elliot Anderson coming in from Newcastle, Eric de Silva Moreno in from St. Pauli for 1.3 million. They have brought in that big Serbian centre back for 12 million from Fiorentina, Nikola Belenkovic, who was Fiorentina's captain. So he'll bring a bit of steel at the back there and a lot of experience. Of course, they brought in a whole host of other players. Friola from Bologna, Mangala from Lyon signed permanently for 20 million. And Nakate from Lyon as well on £27 million. So they're bringing in the players. A lot have gone out the door, but I think Forest just have enough to stay up in 17th position. In 16th position, I have gone for Ipswich Town. Excellent last season. Double promoted.
Yeah, first team since Southampton and Norwich, isn't it?
That's right. They brought in a few players again themselves to strengthen. A few have gone out the door, but Liam Delap, who was at Hull last season, signing for 15 million, coming in from Manchester City. Into 15th position, I have gone for Wolves. Gary O'Neill did a really good job there last season. I had them to go down last season. Rodrigo Gomez coming in, young Portuguese player coming in from Braga. I think he's got a couple of goals in a match in a pre-season friendly against West Ham. Looks an exciting prospect on a 5-year deal. But big blow for Wolves is Max Kilman going out on a 40 million fee.
That's a great sign for West Ham.
Yeah, they've done a lot of business. Up to 14th position, I've gone for Fulham. If they'd kept hold of Polinia, then I could have seen them pushing up the table, but that'll be a massive blow for Fulham. They're trying to sign Diego Carlos, a centre-back from Aston Villa. They haven't got that one over the line at the time of recording, but they got the likes of Harry Wilson there and Ryan Sessegnon coming back in from Spurs. Of course, the likes of Pereira and Smith Rowe coming in from Arsenal is a decent addition as well. So Fulham should be okay in 14th position, no real danger of going down. And in 13th position, Sean Dyche's Everton. I can see them probably a better season that they did have than last year. They've been signing quite a few players, even though they had those financial issues last term, bringing in Iro Bonham, I think that's how you pronounce it, from Villa. Liam Ndeye from Marseille for 20 million. Jack O'Brien from Lyon from 17 million. The big one going out the door, though, of course, is Onana going to Aston Villa for 50 million pounds, and that fee is there to balance the books. But I think Everton will have a lot better season than they did last year.
Anyway, moving on to my 17th, I have got Leicester City. Great appointment to obviously replace Enzo Maresca and Steve Cooper as well, proven at this level. Very good manager, able to get youngsters through nicely as well. We've seen so many clubs in the past. But I put them in 17th just because of the imminent points deduction that they're going to end up having. They've got a very good squad, and we saw that in the Championship last season, and it was actually quite bad how Maresca didn't get them to walk the league. And they had Ipswich, Leeds, etc. chasing their tails the whole season.
They had that really good start, though, and then they tailed off
massively.
And probably one of the better defensive records in the league, but defensively, I thought at times they were wanting, weren't they?
Oh, massively, and it's going to be exposed again this season. But the thing that'll keep them out of the bottom three is patchy form, and they're going to go on these good runs, which we always do see under Steve Cooper. So I've got them in 17th. In 16th place, I've got Wolverhampton Wanderers. Bit of a drop off from last season for them. What was it? Losing 5 of their last 6 games towards the end of last year. Strand Larson coming in is a very good signing. Gomez, Tommy Doyle's another good example. He's played for Cardiff. He's a good player.
He was there, wasn't he?
He was there before. Lima is a decent signing as well, but they need to keep the core of their squad gelled and together to ensure that they keep out the bottom places. But I can actually see Gary O'Neill leaving at the end of the season here, just for a little bit of new ideas and new thought going into the 25-6 season. Anyway, in 16th, I've got Ipswich Town. They're pretty much here due to momentum as well. Getting double promoted, first time in about 10 years that a team has done that. And whenever a team gets double promoted, they always produce the results. Look at Southampton and look at Norwich as well all those years ago. Hutchinson and Greaves, great signing for them to add into a very well balanced squad that we saw a lot last season as well. And to be honest, I think they're going to have a great debut year in the Premier League. First time in about, what, 25 years?
It'd be good for the Welsh boys there as well.
Oh, massively. Nathan Broadhead, quality player. Wes Burns, the St Athan Cafu, he's an absolute baller, isn't he, as well? So yeah, Ipswich, they're going to be one I'm going to be watching a lot this year. But anyway, moving on, Fulham, I've got them one place down from last year into 14th. Emile Smith-Rowe's a great signing from Arsenal. Proven at Arsenal, had some good moments for them. He's going to fit in quite well. It's a very good attacking line that he's being added to as well, like Harry Wilson, Ryan Sessegnon coming as well. Andreas Pereira is another great player there. But I unfortunately do have him dropping by one place just because of that Palhinha deal to Bayern Munich. So going to have him finishing 14th. In 13th, I've got Everton. It's their last season at Goodison Park, isn't it? They've got a decent-ish squad, but Sean Dyche, he's going to drag them kicking and screaming at the table like he did last year with the massive points deduction that they had. Losing Onana's a bit concerning, but bringing in the likes of Ndiaye, I really rate him as a player, and also Jack O'Brien. There's some good signings as well, so Everton in 13th. In 12th place, I'm going to get a ridiculous amount of comments for this in the comments section. I've got Chelsea. Enzo Maresca, very, very risky manager appointment there. We saw his flaws at Leicester last season. Well, it pretty much is his first season in management in the UK, and I have my concerns. Todd Bowley as well. With him getting rid of Mauricio Pochettino, has proven he cannot work with any style of manager, so that's a massive concern there. Aside from Keenan Dewsbury-Hall coming in, the squad that I just see from them, it's just not inspiring at all, is it? I know they have the likes of, obviously, Cole Palmer, who was excellent last season, but I mean, the rest of the squad, it's just a bit meh, and they're going to have...
Mudrich.
He hasn't exactly produced any trees.
I don't know, he's been
brought up any trees, has he? The defence is bang average. It's just... There's a lot of expense paid there for a young squad on long contracts. It's going to be horrible for them, so 12th position. Next up in 11th, I've gone for Brighton and Hove Albion. Fabian Hüsler in the door, of course, replacing Roberto De Zerbi, who stepped down at the end of last season. It's going to be a transition year for them, isn't it, with the amount of players that they've got going out. Pascal Gross is obviously going out, so they're having a bit of a transition there. Minter and Wafer, they're both decent signings as well, so I'm looking forward to seeing what they can do. But Brighton, once again, go for the hipster option with their manager. So they're going to finish 11th. In 10th place, mind, they could finish a bit higher. I've got Bournemouth. Antonio Raiola, second season in charge. I really do rate him as a manager. And he's going to build on a cracking season from last year. Bringing the likes of Sinisterra and Unal, they're absolutely fantastic signings, adding to a very strong squad. All Bournemouth need to do is add a really quality midfielder and obviously replace Dom Solanke, who's gone out to Tottenham today. If they can do those two, they're going to be pushing for the European places for me. So another great season for Bournemouth. In 9th, this is another one who I could see going into Europe next year. Crystal Palace, Oliver Glasner coming in, just fantastic end to last season. What was it, 5 wins in 6? Just amazing. Ismaila Sarr coming in. He's a solid replacement for Michael Olise, who's gone to Bayern Munich, hasn't he? They're going to have a very strong start, in my opinion, building on from the momentum from last year. And to be honest, as they always do at Crystal Palace, they're going to drop off and have a horrendous run around Christmas, but they'll bounce back and they'll probably push for Europe, to be honest. So great season in 9th. In 8th position, and I think with some of the business they've done since I've done these predictions, they're going to finish a lot higher. But I've gone for West Ham. Lopetegui, I really rate him as a manager. Fantastic. Nicholas Füllkrug coming in.
Yes.
Oh my God, that's going to be ridiculous for them. And I'm going to call it now. I actually think he's going to be Premier League signing of the season, to be honest, with the amount of goals he's going to bang, and especially how well he did at the Euros as well. Kilman coming in, and also Serencio Somerville from Leeds. They're fantastic signings as well. It looks like they're also going to get Booker T, aka Aaron Wan-Bissaka, in from Manchester United. Oh my God. Well, I know he's a bit patchy, but they're building such a good squad there, so the fact I put them low is a bit concerning, but for now I'm going to put them in 8th. In 7th, I'm going to go for Manchester United. Lenry Yoro, he's an okay signing coming in, but to be honest, this team is desperate for just nuking and completely starting again. Good to see Erik ten Hag getting another contract, isn't it? But at the end of the day, World of Football podcast I do with 2 Manchester United fans. They say the same things all the time. Nothing is going to change unless you just completely overhaul everything from top to bottom. They haven't done that again. Problems have not been solved, and that's why they're going to have another poor season in 7th. And to be honest, after this, I think Erik ten Hag's going to leave at the end of the season. And in 6th place, we've got Newcastle United. Lewis Hall coming in, adding to the midfield. He's a quality signing. It's a great squad, and the fact that they're not in Europe is going to benefit them massively. Eddie Howe, at the end of the day, he's going to drag them kicking and screaming into the Europa League, isn't he? And also, I'm going to call it now, FA Cup, Carabao Cup, they're going to win one of them this season. So
maybe
that's up to my 6th position.
Fantastic. So my 12th to 6th position, I've gone for Brighton. It seems they uncover gems every season. Young players coming in, as you say, Nathan. £70 million on transfers this summer. Yankuba Mente, a young winger from Feyenoord.
He was excellent in the Eredivisie last
million pound. Yeah,
really
Osan, good. As you say, young 19-year-old, £16 million. Max Viffer, £25 million. But they have had 17 players go out the door, and you touched on it. Pascal Gross to Dortmund for £10 million. Out amongst the others leaving, I think Adam Lallana has been released finally. Wherever he ends up, who knows. In 11th position, I have gone for Bournemouth, but Solanke has left now. Maybe I should move them down the table a little bit. From last season, they spent a confirmed £50 million of that cash on Unal and Sinisterra, who've now signed on permanent deals. And one to note is a young centre-back from Juve coming in on just over 15 million. That's Dean Huijsen. In 10th position, they had a fantastic end or second part of the season last year. That's Crystal Palace, as you say. Elise gone to £50 million to Bayern Munich, which they'll miss him. But at the start of last season, I think he was injured for quite a bit at the time. Mateta last year scoring a hatful of goals, whereas he's been for the last couple of seasons. Coming in through the door for 14 million, young centre-back Chadi Ride has come in for 14 million, and Ismail Sarr, who's had experience in the UK with Watford, of course, coming in to bolster their ranks. So I think Crystal Palace have another decent season, and I think they'll probably finish in 10th position. And there are rumours, of course, that Eze may be on his way out. Maybe Manchester City, but we'll wait and see on that. In 9th position, I have gone for West Ham, but as you say, their signings this summer have been absolutely phenomenal. I think, to be honest,
they're going to finish highest.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, we did these predictions a few days ago, didn't we? And some of the signings they've made, oh my God.
Yeah, Kilman, Fulkrug, you say Somerville will add depth and strength to the wing position, and he was excellent, probably the player of the Championship last season. So I've got West Ham in 9th position. In 8th position, I've gone for Spurs. Now, not sure, I could have had Spurs a little bit higher, but I think, okay, they've just signed Solanke, and that will aid them. Will he take over the mantle of what Harry Kane did? Although Harry Kane tends to play a little bit deeper than Solanke, but he will add a little bit of muscle up front. Richarlison's there. I'm not sure if Richarlison played in the Olympics, actually, or if he was injured.
Think he might have.
I knew he did in the last Olympics. Lucas Begaville coming in from De Jagen. I think it was a midfielder for 8.5 million. I think he's a young 18-year-old. And Brennan Johnson, another years experience in the Premier League, so I expect Brennan Johnson to score a hatful of goals this season as well. In 7th position, I have gone for Manchester United. Earlier this afternoon, they lost in the Community Shield against Man City. Brought in some decent signings, although they're already injured. Was it Yoro from Lille for 58 or almost 59 million, and Xerxes from Bologna 36.5 million, the Dutch player. Out the door, finally, Martial has been released there. So
good.
Mason Mount, who had his issues with injuries last year, played in the Community Shield this afternoon. It's a big year for him, and I expect him to have a real big impact on this Manchester United, or the fans will be hoping that he has a big impact at Old Trafford this season. In 6th position, I've gone for Newcastle United, expecting another good season from Isaac up front, but they have brought in William Usula from Sheffield United for 15 million. And Lewis Hall's come in for 28 million from Chelsea. So yeah, I expect the Magpies to flirt with Champions League spots this season. But they do have a lot of competition in front of them from 5th to 3rd position. In 5th position, I have gone for Aston Villa. Aston Villa have brought in a whole host of players. But most surprisingly to me, Diaby going to Saudi Arabia, crazy at this
absolute waste of his career.
At his time of career,
ridiculous.
Many talks, but to incoming Cameron Archer has re-signed from Sheffield United. Ross Barkley's a decent addition for squad depth. Jaden Philogene, like Archer, coming back on a buyback clause, of course. Ian Matston from Dortmund coming in. Onana, their central defensive midfielder, incoming in, was it 50 million from Everton, but out of the door with Diaby, another, was it 20 players altogether, or 21 players. Douglas Luiz going out the door, the likes of Coutinho as well. But I think Villa will have another strong season. They are in Champions League action this year as well, so I've got them in 5th position. In 4th position, I have gone for Chelsea. Bit of a basket case at times there. A lot of turnover of players each and every year. Dewsbury Hall, fine addition, probably for squad depth in the middle midfield, especially after those signings in the middle midfield last season. A lot of competition there. Maresca has got to find the right blend for Chelsea. I think he will. Might have a slow start, but come the end of the season, I can see them finishing in Champions League spot in 4th position. In 3rd position, maybe a little bit controversial, maybe not. I've gone for Liverpool. They haven't actually brought in anybody yet, but I'm sure they'll bring in a player or two by the end of the August transfer deadline. Out though, Thiago retired and Matip has been released as well. But I think Arne Slot, first season in charge, he'll get them into a Champions League position yet again. So Nathan, you're 5th to 3rd.
Interesting. In 5th place, I'm probably going to get another load of comments for this, but I've got Liverpool. It's going to be a transitional season under Arne Slot. Not really brought any players in.
There's a lot of rumours there though, isn't there?
There is a lot of rumours at the moment, but unfortunately, you guys have got a good squad, but I can currently see 4 teams that are going to be stronger than you this season. But anyway, moving on to my Champions League places in 4th position, and there's a few teams missing here, as you guys can probably tell. In 4th position, I have got Tottenham Hotspur. They've got an excellent squad, especially going forward. Top manager in Ange Postecoglou likes to get the best out of his side, especially with players who are sort of on the fringe as well.
Emerson Royal might be on his way out though, isn't he?
He could be on his way out, but to be honest, I think they'll replace him well. I don't really rate him much as a player, to be honest. One I do really like that's coming is Archie Gray. He was brilliant at Leeds last season, a youngster. Play midfield, he can play at the right back position as well. But the one thing that I did have in my notes originally, they need an out-and-out striker to be able to finish in these positions. They've got Dominic Solanke.
Timo Werner's still there though, isn't he?
Yeah, I've never really rated Solanke, but you never know. It could work under Postecoglou under Tottenham, but at the end of the day, the reason I put that is it's never going to work under Timo Werner, isn't it? Who has been a massive flop since he's come over to the Premier League, hasn't he?
Of course, Richarlison's still there as well.
He is still there, but he just doesn't score though, does he? But anyway, moving on. 3rd position. Massive bold prediction here. I've gone for Aston Villa. They've got excellent squad depth coming into the Champions League, a lot different to what Newcastle had last season, and they're not going to be affected by European football at all, in my opinion. They've made some fantastic signings as well. Onana coming in, Maatsen, Cameron Archer, Jaden Philogene's buyback clause as well from Hull. He has done amazing in the Championship over the last few seasons with Hull and Cardiff City as well. Unai Emery, he is an insane manager at this level. What he's proven, what he's done at Aston Villa to transition them into a top side is absolutely fantastic, and they're going to have another great season next year. And that brings me on to my top 2. So in 2nd position, and I've actually gone for a different team this year who's going to win the league. Manchester City in 2nd place.
And I've gone exactly the same, Nathan. I'll put it on the line now.
My predictions,
no, I think you copied mine.
We'll
so
see
why have you gone
that.
for Man City in 2nd then?
Long story short with Man City, they're not going to win 5 in a row, unfortunately. They haven't really added anything minus Savinho, so they've got a very good squad there, but unfortunately, I just see one team that's going to be stronger next year, and they're going to have it under Mikel Arteta, and that is Arsenal. Calafiori is an absolutely fantastic signing to an already excellent squad. He's going to really gel into that team as well. It's now approaching his prime because the last couple of years it's been quite a young squad, hasn't it, who's been battling there. And to be honest, I think they're easily going to win the league.
easily.
Yeah.
Well, it was 3 points last year, the difference, wasn't it, between Man City and Arsenal. Both sides actually finished the season really, really strongly. Overall, Man City lost 3 matches last year and Arsenal lost 5. So very, very tight. As you say, Calfori coming in for Arsenal, the young Italian defender, can play at centre-back and left-back. So loads of competition at the left-back berth at Arsenal. Arsenal have also been linked with Victor Gyokeres. Can you imagine? Former Swansea playing the Championship.
He was awful at
Coventry as well. Sporting Lisbon doing well. So that'll help the likes of Jesus and Kai Havertz up front. If he does come in, Manchester City got them in second position, as you say. Not many transfers at the moment. Savio coming in, the young winger. Liam Delap going out the door. A load of turnaround of players going out the door at Manchester City, as they always do, particularly the youngsters there. There is a bit of a rumour of Kingsley Coman coming in from Bayern Munich. That'll strengthen their wide positions, because I think Jack Grealish didn't play in the Community Shield this afternoon. Coupled to that, I don't think Manchester City, like you, Nathan, are going to win 5 on the trot. It's very, very difficult.
Never happened. It's hard. Not even happened with 4.
Yeah, it's hard getting to the top, but staying there for such a long period. It may happen in Spain and Scotland and years gone by. Juventus in Serie A in Italy, of course. Bayern Munich, I think they won it for some like 10 seasons on the trot, but very, very difficult in the Premier League. So I have got Arsenal as my champions, like you, Nathan. So there are our predictions for the final league places in the 2024-2025 season. Make sure you leave your predictions in the comments section, and as usual this season I'm going to be running over at Super Brew Premier League predictions each and every week. I think I sent out the invitations this morning, but as you can see on the screen there is the league code, and all the details are in the description as well. But before we go, Nathan, a quick one. Who's your Golden Boot winner for this season? Because Haaland's always there, isn't he, for the last couple of seasons?
It is difficult.
That's it. Maybe Isaac. Solanke at Tottenham. Is he going to get it?
That's not going to happen.
Maybe Watkins at Villa, if he has a good start, especially with the amount of backup he's got there. So I'm going to go for Haaland again.
It's got to be Haaland, hasn't it? At the end of the day, he's just broken at this level, isn't he? So yeah, Erling Haaland. And most importantly, we do it in our predictions videos as well. Who is going to be the first manager out of the door?
It could be Russell Martin if they pull the trigger and if they have a very bad start. But maybe Thomas Frank.
Could be.
They don't tend to sack the managers there, do they?
No, I think it's going to be Russell Martin in there just for a laugh. So
fantastic.
There we go.
Thanks for joining us once again. Our Premier League predictions for game week 1 will be out very, very soon. But for now, enjoy the week before the Premier League starts, and we'll see you all in the next video.